Hello, welcome to today's class whereby we are going to be talking about the different test formats available in the IELTS examinations. Well, for starters, we should note that there are only two types of IELTS test formats. Number one being the computer-based test format, also known as CBT, and the second one is known as the paper-based test format. So let's begin with discussing about the CBT test format. Well, as the name suggests, CBT is a test done on a computer. So, meaning, for example, in the listening tests, your questions are going to be narrated on the computer, and then you're going to also write down your answers on your computer. Understood me? Yes, like you're listening and then your answers, you're typing them into the computer. Number one, you type the answer. Number two, you type the answer. Yes. Okay, for reading, the questions and the passage are also going to be on a computer. So you're reading on your computer and then you're also writing down your answers on a computer. So if you've noted the answer to number one, you note it and then you write it down on your computer. Yes. Okay, in writing, the same. Your question is on the computer and then you're supposed to write down your answer on your computer, or rather your passage, your passage on your computer. Yeah. For speaking is usually done either face to face or on a Zoom call. So for the speaking test, it's usually the same across the two test formats. It's either face-to-face or on a Zoom call, but mostly it's usually face-to-face, whereby your examiner is seated across you and a table is separating the two of you, and the examiner is asking you questions and you're answering him or her. Or if it's like in a Zoom call, we all know a Zoom call, like the computer is on, you're on the other side of the screen, the examiner is on the other side of the screen, he's asking you, or he or she is asking you questions, you're answering him or her. Yes. Okay. The other test format is the paper-based test format. As the name suggests, the paper-based test format is usually done using a paper and a pen. Just like the ordinary examinations in most universities and high schools, whereby your questions are on a question paper and you are given an answer sheet. That's the same here. So if it's listening, you're going to be listening on an audio device, mostly a computer obviously, and then your answers, you're going to be writing down your answers on a piece of paper. So you listen to the audio recording, and then there's usually two answer sheets. One, the one whereby you write your rough work, and then you're going to be given time to transfer later on. So you listen and then you write down. Number one, you answer on a piece of paper. Number two, you answer on a piece of paper. Number three, blah, blah, blah. Understood me? And then later on, you're going to transfer your answers from the rough paper to your answer sheet. Yes. Or rather, you can also write straight in your answer sheet. But most people prefer to write first in the rough paper and then transfer. Yes. Anyway, so in reading, the same. You're given a question paper with the passage and the questions, and then you're given an answer sheet whereby you're going to be writing your answers. In writing, the same. You're given a question paper with the questions and then an answer sheet whereby you're going to write your passages. Yes. In speaking, it's the same as CBT as I had said earlier, whereby it's either face-to-face with the examiner or through a video call. So in speaking, there's usually no difference between the two test formats. Well, you might ask, so for me, which test format is should I choose when going to book for the exam? In my own opinion, I'd say there is no good or bad test formats. It just comes down to your personal preference. Let's say you know very well, you are well conversant with the QWERTY keyboard and you are a great typer, or rather you are a standard typer. Then most definitely the best test format for you is going to be the CBT test format, simply because you know that you will not waste time searching for the where is A, where is B on the computer, because you are well conversant with the QWERTY keyboard, and also you can type really well. You see? Maybe you know that you are not really good in a computer, or you can't really type fast. Okay, it doesn't mean that you have to be the fastest typer in the whole world for you to choose the CBT test format, but I'd say you have to have a good standard of typing speed, you know? Yeah. So for example, you know, I'm not really good in typing, so for me I'd advise you go for the paper-based. Because for the paper-based, remember, most of us have been are used to paper-based tests from way back, from elementary through high school and probably through university. So it's not going to be something new to you simply because it's something you're used to. But in my own case, by the way, I'm a very slow writer in terms of like paper. Like I write really slowly, painfully slow. Like slow. I mean slow. Like I don't know. Compared to my peers, and I have attested this throughout all my examinations, whereby I'm usually the last person to leave the exam room, simply because I write really slowly. But when it comes to typing, I think I'm a beast. I can type really well. I can type with my eyes closed. I'm really good at typing, like the QWERTY keyboard, simply because I'm obsessed with my phone, I think. Yeah, I think that's the reason. So you see the phone and the computer, the same keyboard. So yeah, so for me, I chose the CBT and I nailed it, simply because I am a good typer. Yeah. And I think also the test format you choose can really affect, or can kind of affect your score, simply because if you choose a test format whereby you're not well conversant, you might waste some time, and you might eventually run out of time, which in turn will lead to you having lower marks. Not because you didn't know the answer, but simply you didn't have time to finish your questions. Yeah, for me, I know very well if I chose the paper-based, I would have gotten a lower score, especially in writing, because I know myself. Yes. So for me, I'd say it just comes down to preference, and I'd also advise that when you are practicing for the exam, please, I repeat, please, practice with your chosen test format. There's no way you're going to have booked for the paper-based exam, and then during practice, you're practicing using a computer, like you're writing down your answers in a computer. You are like you're not using paper-based, paper and pen. And there's no way you could have booked for the CBT exam, but during your practice, you're not using a computer to type. You're not typing down your answers in a computer. You're writing them down on paper. My goodness. Please don't joke. Please only practice with your chosen test format. This way, when it comes to the D-Day, you are not going to have any difficulty, because this is something you've been doing. You have already practiced. You are well conversant with what you know, with your chosen test format. Even if you know very well you are very good in computers, please do not take it for granted. Just practice with your chosen test format. I repeat, practice with your chosen test format. Yes, please. Anyway, and if you're not sure, maybe you have not booked for your examination and you're not sure which test format is good for you. So while practicing, try both of them. Try writing down your answers in paper and pen, and also try writing them down in a computer and just see the difference. And in this, I mean in all sections. Don't just try in listening, and then in reading you're using paper and pen, in writing you're using computer. No, try all of them and see how good you are, and then you can decide for yourself. Yes, but for me, I'd still advocate for CBT, but that's just me. Yes. Anyway, I think I've rambled a bit, but let's go back to the difference between CBT and paper-based. So we have already talked about the difference when it comes to the exam day, but there are also some other differences. When it comes to the results for CBT, the online results, because first the results are presented online, are posted online, and then after they're posted online, you're going to be sent the certificate in your address later on. So the CBT test takes 3 days to be posted. So if you did your CBT exam today, it will take 3 days for your online results to be out, and around 1 week for your physical results to be out. I mean your certificates. And for the paper-based, your online results are going to take 2 weeks to be posted, and around 1 week for the certificate to be out. The certificate is usually called the test report form, TRF. Yes. So that is also another difference between the two types of the examinations. Well, the paper-based and CBT also have a difference in availability. Sometimes you might want to book your exam on a certain date, but on that certain date, the only type of examinations available are maybe CBT or maybe paper-based. So there's also that difference. Some days you might find on a certain day the paper-based exams are not available, or on a certain day the CBT exams are not available, or maybe in a certain test center paper-based is available, CBT is not available. Yeah, that way. But when it comes to content, when it comes to the questions are exactly the same. There's no difference between the questions, as in when you choose paper-based and CBT, you think that the questions are going to be different. No, the questions are exactly the same. The marking is exactly the same. Yes, but there's only a slight difference. So the way a question might appear in the paper-based form is slightly different from how the question is going to appear the way the question is going to appear in paper-based might be slightly different in the way the question is going to appear in CBT, simply because of logistics. Like, there's a way a question can appear in a computer, and there's a way a question might appear in a paper. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but I hope you get it. Yes, there's a bit of just a slight difference. Maybe if it's a diagram in a computer can appear this horizontally, in a paper appear vertically, something like that. Not exactly like that, but I'm just trying to give an example. Yes. Also, there's a slight advantage in paper-based. In paper-based, you're usually given around 10 minutes in your listening test to transfer your answers. But in CBT, since you're not writing your answers down in a rough paper, you're not given time to transfer your answers in listening. Not in only listening, but in reading, it's the same time you're given to write your answers and read. In writing, the same time of time you're given. But the only difference in listening is that you're given 10 minutes in paper-based to transfer your answers. Okay. Also note, it's very easy. Oh, wait, this almost happened to me. It's very easy in CBT to miss a question. Why? This is because in CBT, it's not like in paper-based, whereby you can circle your answer or you can underline it very well. So please note, in CBT, always make sure you have counter-checked that you have answered all your questions. Please. That almost happened to me, but I thank God I noted it before my time was up. But please note. And before you submit your answers, always ensure that you have counter-checked and you have ensured that you've answered all questions. I'm going to repeat these tips in each section, but I just wanted to mention it here again. Yes. Anyway, is there anything else I've forgotten between the two test formats? I don't think so. Yes, I don't think so. Well, and also in terms of pricing, the pricing is the same in both the test formats. It's not that CBT is going to be more expensive, and it's not that paper-based is going to be more expensive. It's the same pricing. Yes. Anyway, we are done for today's class, and that is the difference between the two test formats. And all the best as you choose the test format that best suits you. Anyway, see you in my next class.